Howdy, Vine Trippers. I wanted to take just a moment before the show begins to tell you a little bit about the Texas Wine Lover website and app. It is a definite must-have for anyone wanting to explore the Texas wine industry. Now, they have a website. It's txwinelover.com, but they also have an app that you can actually download to your phone. You can find it on the Apple App Store or on the Google Play Store for Android devices. And it's going to be kind of your one-stop shop for when you go out to visit these great places. So you get to listen to them here on the podcast or watch them on YouTube to learn about these wineries. But when you go to visit, make sure you're checking out that app, because I'm sure you're probably going to want to visit other places in the area as well. And you can do incredible searches. It's the most comprehensive listing of winery information in Texas. And you can look for wineries in your area to go visit multiple places. You can sort those listings by finding out ones that are kid-friendly, maybe some that are pet-friendly. If you want to look for events or things that are going on, if you want to find those that can host RVs, just about any category you can think of, you can actually sort those listings and find wineries around you to go visit. The app is free to use for you and I. So it's a perfect, again, hand-in-hand tool when you're going out to visit wineries. Listen to them on this podcast, watch them on YouTube, and then start making your plans to go visit and use the Texas Wine Lover app when you go. Now, it can also be a great tool. Maybe you're not even looking for a winery. You just happen to be traveling to some place in Texas, and you just might think, I've got a little extra time. I wonder if there are any wineries in the area. You can actually look them up in the Texas Wine Lover app. You can search either by the name of a winery, or it's got a map view. So you can actually pull up a map of the area around you and see locations of wineries near you and go visit them and support the Texas wine industry. So you got to use the Texas Wine Lover app. It goes perfectly with this podcast. So make sure you check it out before you go on your next trip among the vines. Again, it's www.txwinelover.com, or look up the Texas Wine Lover app on your favorite phone app store and make sure you get that downloaded and use it frequently. You will benefit from it and ask for Texas wines. Let's see the Texas wine industry prosper and go visit some of these fun places that I'm bringing to you on the show. Texas Under Vine, an exploratory podcast to scout out the best that Texas wine country has to offer. I'm your wine guide, Scott, and I'm here to lead you on an auditory expedition to the vineyards and wineries across the great Lone Star State. Each episode will cover a different vineyard, winery, or wine-related business operating in Texas. You'll hear interviews, descriptions, and details about each location that will excite you to visit and experience them for yourself. Ready to plan a wine tour? Use these episodes to choose the most interesting spots for you and your friends to check out. Most of all, enjoy hearing about the rapidly growing wine industry in the state and what makes our wines and wineries the best. Howdy, Vine Tripper. Welcome to episode 66 for the Texas Under Vine podcast. And for this episode, I am actually going back to the Texas Hill Country area. Gonna move a little bit down the Wine Road 290 to the little town of High. And I'm gonna take a little side road heading to the south. And I'm gonna end up at a place called French Connection Wines. Now, this winery was actually opened up in September of 2019 by two couples, Ben and Victoria Calais, and Pat and Sheri Patillo. It is the sister winery to another small little winery owned by Ben Cala called Calais Winery. Now, back before they actually opened, the way this whole project kind of came together, Sheri Patillo had actually transitioned from her previous career by taking wine classes and improving her knowledge in that area. She began actually working for Ben Cala at that time, who had recently transitioned here to the Hill Country from the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And Victoria actually at that time had a farm in the driftwood area that produced organic flowers, herbs, vegetables, things like that. And they sold a lot of that produce to many high-end restaurants, especially here in the Austin area. Now, she ended up actually in landing in the Hill Country area. She began working for a winery, and that's where she met Ben Cala. And he is the actual winemaker for French Connection Wines. And she and Ben actually hit it off and they got married, and they are one of the founding couples, Victoria and Ben, of this winery, again, along with Sheri and her husband, Pat. Now, the location that they found here for French Connection Wines was already a pre-existing winery, although it definitely needed a lot of work, a lot of TLC, some redecorating. They needed to build some production facilities there. And so they put in a lot of work on the property and then got this ready to go as French Connection. And like I said, it's got the sister winery of Calais Winery, and the production facility here on site at French Connection is where Ben does all of the production for both of those wineries. Now, to give you a little bit of a feel for the difference, they both focus on French varietals, Calais as well as French Connection wines. But Ben focuses more on Bordeaux style wines at Calais, whereas here at French Connection Wines, they're more about the Rhone Valley of France. And a lot of the varietals and style of wines that they have in the Rhone Valley, in the southern Rhone Valley in France. Now, even though they're making French style wines, they are a 100% Texas winery, and very proud of that fact, to source all of their fruit and all of their grapes here from the Texas area. And they plan to stay that way. And they really love the French theme. They embrace that. So much so that they actually, for 2 of their wine release parties each year here at French Connection Wines, they will bring in a French chef who will craft some French crepes to pair with the wines that they are releasing at that party. A true French style experience there that apparently is loved by their guests and requested heavily. And in addition to those fabulous French wines that they have and that they are making and serving there, they also have some charcuterie options, including, you got to try this, a French butterboard that they offer there with different selections that would pair amazingly with some of those French wines that they have. You definitely got to try that when you go. And if all of that wine and food and everything wasn't enough, if you're out doing your own hill country expedition to check out wineries and places, and you're looking for a place to stay, they have 3 little maisonettes on property that you can reserve and stay at if you'd like. And so they have little porches out front. They're bigger than a hotel room. They told me in the interview, about 400 square feet each. And you have full run of the property. So at night, if you want to go watch the sunset or the stars and sit on their back porch of the winery and enjoy that view, you're more than welcome to do that from those cool little maisonettes. Now, this winery is not a massive production winery. It's a small batch, small production winery. They really want to keep it that way. They're really more intent on focusing on the quality of producing great wines rather than producing a lot of okay wine. And so when you go there and you try some of the great wines that they're having, it's definitely something that you're going to want to buy some bottles of, because they may run out before you come back the next time. As a matter of fact, some of those wines are so limited in their production that they don't even offer them to the general public. They only sell them and give them to their wine club members, that special group of fans that follow French Connection Wines and that commit to their wine club. But all in all, they've really got this whole process dialed in to give you a top-notch French wine experience here at French Connection Wines. Now, when I went to go visit with them, I was lucky enough to get to sit down and interview 2 of the co-owners there, Victoria Calais and Sheri Patillo. And for this particular interview, just so you'll know ahead of time, they preferred not to do video for it. So it will be audio only for the interview portion itself here. But sit back and listen to these amazing women. They're incredibly entrepreneurial in the things they've done in their lives and coming together with a shared vision, a shared spirit to make and craft exceptional French style wines from the Rhone Valley area here in the Texas Hill Country. Let's hear what they have to say. All right, howdy, Vine Trippers. I'm here with Victoria Calais and Sheri Patillo. at French Connection Wines. And we're going to talk a little bit about this lovely location that we have. We're sitting out back on the patio this beautiful day in May. And so we're going to talk about this location and their wines and what you'd expect when you come to visit here at Fridge Connection. So I'll let either one of you go first. I'll default to you guys, but tell me a little bit about yourself and your wine journey. How did you get started in this whole wine industry?
Okay, well, this is Sheri, and I'll jump in there. It's just kind of I always use the term "way leads on to way" to quote Robert Frost in The Road Not Taken. I just started into the wine industry in 2015. I left. I had originally been in international finance with an oil company in Houston, and then when I moved out to the Hill Country, I was in nonprofit management. And I had just left that nonprofit and was sort of waiting to see what was next. And I thought, I enjoy wine. I'll take a wine class.
Okay.
And look, here we are today.
What led to it's there's one small stone thrown into the water that now
You know,
ripples on.
and back in 2015, the wine industry, as far as education in Texas, was very different. So there weren't a lot of classes being offered, particularly in the Hill Country. So I did find one that was in Austin, but it was not WSET or through the Court of Masters like you hear about now. It was the International Sommelier Guild out of Canada. And so I began commuting from Kerrville to Austin weekly, and I would sit there for about 8 hours in a seat. And I just took a deep dive into wine. And then that got me really interested. I got the bug, as you would say. And then, so I went into WSET coursework, Wine and Spirit Education Trust, being the global leader in wine education, as you know, and kind of kept going with that all the way through my diploma, and then did a few other things through the Court of Master Sommeliers and also certified specialist of wine. But any coursework I could take, I wanted to do it. I wanted to just, grab it and do it. So then I was introduced to Ben Cala in 2016 through a mutual friend. And at the time, Ben had he hadn't even been out here in the Hill Country for a year. He had started, in Dallas in Deep Ellum with Calais Winery, and he got the property out here in High, and it was just him. But a mutual friend said, "You two might want to meet each other. Ben, maybe Sheri could help you with your work here because more traffic, right?" And so I began working with Ben in March of 16.
Okay.
And we worked together for several years. And I can tell you more about the winery, but that's my background. And we can tell you a little bit more later about how we came to have this place. But that's me. That's my wine journey in a nutshell. So,
What's you, Victoria?
I came to the industry very different route. Okay. Through farming, actually.
Farming. Okay.
Yeah, very different approach. I used to have a farm in Driftwood, where I did organic of herbs, vegetable, flowers, and I worked with quite a few pretty big restaurants, well-known restaurants in Austin. Taught classes on sustainability and in general farming in Texas. And then I used to be part of the farmers market at one of the local places in Dripping Springs. And at some point, we did not own the land, and we were leasing the land, and we ended up losing that land. And the place I was doing farmers market at, they also had like a wine market, and they offered me a position over there. And back then, I really knew nothing about wines. In fact, like in my first week that I started working there, they were doing a big wine festival. And I was thrown right into it, and I did not even know how to open a bottle of wine.
Fake it till you make it kind of thing, huh?
Like the corkscrew, I had no idea how to operate that. And then after that, I got to meet quite a few local Texas producers, winemakers, and in a couple of years, I moved to a place here in the Hill Country. And that's where I feel like my serious wine journey started. And that's when I started taking various classes and get into it more and more. And the place I ended up working at, that's kind of where I met Ben. Ben just moved from Dallas to the Hill Country. And at that point, he did not have crush pad. He did not have production facility.
Right.
So the winery I was working at would let him use at nighttime their facility to crush his grapes. And that's kind of how our paths crossed.
Okay.
And we were friends for a long time. And then our relationship evolved, and eventually we ended up being together and meeting Pat and Sheri. And kind of this is what it all came out to be, this place.
Grew into this
Yeah,
location.
exactly. Yeah.
Cool. Well, let's go into it. Let's talk about this location then. So how did it get started?
Well, it was December of 18, well, late 2018. And the property here had been on the market for a bit. And so we had the opportunity together to say, let's do this project. And so the four of us, my husband, Pat, and I, and Ben and Victoria, in fact, we popped a cork out here and had a toast right out back when we made the decision to jump in and get the property.
I guess Victoria didn't open it, so she didn't know how to do the
She did by then.
Oh, okay.
By then I did.
You had learned.
So we made that decision in December of 18. The property although it had previously been a winery,
Okay.
it needed a lot of fix up and
TLC.
Yes, it did. And so, I mean, like you come here and you can see the rustic nature of it. Like, we've got these cedar beams and posts and so forth. But we wanted to also give it a French. So we wanted to keep that Texas touch.
Yeah.
But we wanted to give it a French flair, if you will. And so this is why we chose, like white with the black outlines, on the siding and everything. And so, and inside it just needed a lot. It was much more rustic previously, but we did keep some of that here. So it took about 9 months or so to do and we did it all ourselves.
Yeah.
To do all the fix up, including in the production building. The production building was our priority because we wanted everything clean and ready and perfect for harvest.
Yep.
So once we got that all ready, then we began doing the rest of this here so that the people could come and sit out here and enjoy this beautiful view of the Pedernales River Valley, and so we had a lot of work, and that was September of 2019.
Okay.
When we opened to the public.
Oh, right before the
shutdown.
pandemic occurred.
It was fun. And besides that, we were doing all the final touches, and final touches. I mean, we were spreading all the gravel and digging and painting in July and August in Texas. That was so much fun. So much fun. It was definitely lots of sweat equity put into this place. No, by then my journey started in 13. So by then I already was few certifications.
You're comfortable with it.
I was good. It was all good. It was good. Yes. And we definitely got lucky with locations and with people we joined forces with. And 19 was a rough year, but we were excited to start. And what helped us a lot is that Ben with Calais Winery already had a existing customer base.
Okay.
And he kind of always, so mostly Calais focuses on Bordeaux varieties.
Mm-hmm.
And here at French Connection, we focus on Rhone varieties. So that's the biggest difference. People quite often do not realize that it's the same winemaker. So Ben Cala is a winemaker at Calais Winery. He is a winemaker at French Connection. The difference is the varieties we use for each winery, very different styles of wine. So you're not going to feel like you're going to two same wineries.
Yeah.
Different experience, different styles of wines, different varieties used. So Ben kind of always played on the side with some Rhone varieties, and it was always been a passion of his. So it only made sense to dedicate the entire brand to just Rhone varieties. They happen to do quite well for us here in Texas. So there's enough to work with to establish brand based just on the Rhone varieties. So when we opened, we send an email to the existing customers, Calais customers, and that's what helped us kind of to get going, get started, and we had lots of happy people here, which was really heartwarming to see because of the amount of work we put into it, and we were really, really happy with that. And when we just opened, back then the production was small. We did not have club. We did not have enough wine to be able to establish club, and we had to shut down in a few months after opening without the existing club. So that was rough. That was rough. But we had enough supporters, enough people that loved us, and we really, really appreciated that. Helped us to make it through.
Bridge through that gap.
Exactly.
Now you've been going strong since then with the Rhone Varietals.
Exactly. Yeah. Continuing educating people on their own varieties, which is it's a battle. Not that many folks are familiar with the Rhone varieties. They taste different than your typical Bordeaux would taste, and they go through different phases. It has its own flair, so to speak. And there's quite a few very obscure varieties people never heard of that at this point we kind of build a cult following, so to speak, for, and been really successful. For example, our Picpoul Blanc, which is white variety that's gaining popularity in Texas. It's one of our flagships, white, wouldn't you say?
I would.
It's a variety that does really well for us here in Texas. It's a variety that's able to retain that acid, that beautiful, refreshing finish. So on our patio, this is the variety that's always, always, always popular. And the Counoise is another variety that kind of we became known for, and it's a red grape. And it's a perfect red, makes perfect red wine for all red wine drinkers if you want to drink your reds throughout the year. So not just winter time, but in summertime. It's a lighter style red. We serve it chilled, so just perfect to enjoy during spring, summer, fall. In Texas. And for Thanksgiving, it's a perfect bottle of wine you'd bring to pair with pretty much everything you have on your Thanksgiving table.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. So we really being happy with the progress, how people take to Rhone varieties more and more. Sometimes it takes a minute for people, and they will even admit that they were not in love with Rhone varieties right away. Right? But it kind of grew on them, and they learned to appreciate it. Or we do have people that fall in love right away.
Yes. That's
right away.
Love at first sip.
It's always interesting to see how people get excited about Rhone varieties.
Yeah. I just actually had a feature, one of my bonus episodes with Larry Syrah from Rhone Rangers for their event that they did here in the Hill Country.
Wonderful person. Larry is great person. And they're fighting that fight too. And for them, it's even harder than us because California is less known for Rhone varieties. And they're doing a great job with it. We got to be part of Rhone Rangers for the first time last year.
Yeah, we went out and poured in Paso.
Yeah, they do.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
A really
the big event there.
And when we were pouring there, I want to say there are only 4 Texas wineries at the event, and versus what we had this year. It's so great to see this. Yeah.
Yeah. He was talking about the explosion. It went from like 4 or 5 wineries to over 20, I think now. Yeah. So especially as well as I think those varietals are doing here in Texas for sure. Well, where do you source your fruit? You have any vines here?
I'm going to let you talk
on-site?
about this because she's married to the guy who works out the contracts on that.
So Ben chooses to work with the mostly high plains vineyards, and we do have a few vineyards we source from in Fort Davis, so Davis Mountains.
Okay, the Davis Mountains, yeah.
Yes, we don't get a lot, but it's absolutely exceptional quality fruit.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah, this is the highest elevation in Texas. It definitely shows, and we would like to see more and more vineyards being planted, developed, or we would like to see more fruit to be sourced from there. But right now it's small, and it's taking its time. There's no need to rush, right? But it's mostly high plains. We have established relationship with a few vineyards in high plains. We have few blocks planted specifically for us in couple of vineyards. So mostly higher elevation fruit.
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard great things about the Davis Mountains. And I was actually speaking to somebody from one of the vineyards there who said that there in the Davis Mountains, it might get above 100 one day out of the year.
Yeah, they
That's
really
about it.
don't.
It's so cool, and with the elevation and everything, and no disease pressure, no pest pressure.
Yeah, there are quite a few
know.
advantages. Yeah, no disease
Yeah.
pressure, pest pressure. You have more of a diurnal swing between day and night, and fruit loves it. And
Let those grapes rest a little bit at night.
There are some threats out there, like the hail and the
Sure.
frost, for sure.
yeah,
Well, this is Texas, so
Yeah.
that's the biggest struggle. Water source, hail, and freeze.
yeah.
That's really big issues, which High Plains experiences that as well, but it's in much,
In a different way. Yeah.
much more prevalent in Fort Davis.
Do you process all those grapes here on site? You talked about the production building and all that then?
So all of our production is done here on site, except in fact for both wineries, Calais and French Connection.
Oh, okay.
So Ben is usually present at every single one of the harvests in High Plains. That's very busy time for him. So he overlooks and helps harvest everything that we process, and it's been loaded on the trucks and driven down here, and we process everything here on site.
Okay.
Yeah, you drove past when you came in the gate on your left, that large building. That's our production building for both wineries.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
The very first building there on the left. Gotcha. And you said that was for, he processes both French Connection as well as Calais Winery wines here. So that's the production building where the magic takes place. Gotcha.
Yeah, both of the brands are pretty small. So that small production building, we're able to process fruit for both of the wineries.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there a story behind the name French Connection Wines, besides the fact that it's Rhone Varietals? Maybe that's self-explanatory, but.
So I think when we started, Ben kind of already had a name in mind. So basically the way we tell the story is it's between us using French varieties, varieties that originated in France and now grown here in Texas, and having a French winemaker. That's what inspired the name French Connection.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just put all that together. I wonder if the movie had anything to do with it.
Oh, we have that question asked all the time. Yeah. It's fun.
So what are some of you've already talked a little bit about Picpoul and Counoise. What are some of y'all's favorite wines that you produce?
I personally love the Mourvedre that we do.
Okay.
And we're getting the fruit for that out in Del Valley, which is
Far West Texas.
near the Guadalupe Mountains, right? So it's just meaty and kind of chocolatey, and I mean, it's got fruit on it too, but it's a bigger style of wine, and it's very well received by people. It's been rated very highly by James Suckling, highest rated Mourvedre that he tasted when they were out here.
Oh, wow.
Really proud of that one. And we just got through bottling the latest vintage on that, and it's another beauty. So
Another winner.
That's me personally. I love the Mourvedre.
Okay.
Well, I am in agreement with Sheri for sure. The beautiful wine. But Syrah is one of my favorite varieties, hands down. Love Syrah. And we can get quite a few different faucets of the different styles of Syrah just coming from different vineyards around Texas. We do few vineyard designated Syrahs.
Yeah.
And it's so amazing to see how different they can be. We have some Newsom Vineyard Syrah is one of the oldest Syrah vines in Texas. We do not get much harvest out of those older vines, but the quality of the fruit is absolutely amazing, and it makes for the wines with long longevity, like more of an old world style Syrah. Then we have Syrah from Del City. Thank you for mentioning. Completely forgot about Del City, Del Valley. And that is a leaner style Syrah so far that we've seen. Again, the aging potential is great. And then we have more fruit forward, more luscious Syrah we've seen coming from Fort Davis. So such different spectrum of Syrahs. And we have some that High Plains where we blend few different vineyards together. So it's more rounded, more fruit forward Syrah. So if you do like Syrah, if you would like to explore Syrah, this is the place to be.
Wow. Yeah. So just the different terroir, the different things that make it so unique.
Exactly.
Okay, so what are some of the most popular wines with customers? What are the ones that when customers come in, they keep pulling those off the shelf nonstop?
Well, I think Victoria touched on a couple of them
Yeah, the
earlier. And we
Picpoul.
have, like she said, a cult following for our Picpoul Blanc
Okay.
as well as our Counoise.
Yeah.
So people are always ready for the next release because we sell out of them so quickly. Once we release them, they go pretty fast. So people are always just waiting in the wings for the next vintage. So those for sure. But I would also say our rosé. Whenever we make rosé, people love it. It's more of a Provence style rosé. So just really pretty, delicate style. Vin Gris is what we call it, our Vin Gris rosé, typically made from Sancerre.
Okay.
And it's very sought after, and we've become known for that as well.
It's also within the reds, I would say we have a line of wines that's called La Connexion, which is kind of meant to be your everyday drinking wines, very approachable, easy to enjoy. You can drink now, you can choose to age, you can have food, you can just enjoy it on its own.
Very flexible.
Yes, exactly. That's the idea behind that line. And we have a red that we make every year, and it's a blend of different varieties depending on what we have available for the year, but just to stay within that style. And that usually makes a medium style red, very, very approachable. And I mean, it's people's go-to whenever folks want to have a glass, just wine by the glass. And you can serve it chilled, you can serve it cellar temperature, room temperature, whatever works for you, but that's quite popular. We, at the very, very end of within the same line, we have white blend, and that scored the highest white wine for Texas by James Suckling. I want to say we have 2 cases left. Maybe by the time the podcast airs, we're not going to have that one anymore. But that was a barrel-aged white with the white rum Roussanne Marsan Viognier. That one pretty popular as well.
Yeah.
If I might add one more thing, I'm just coming to think about the wine and production. Ben likes to stay within the French style with everything he does, either one of the brands. So they all done in a classic French style. So all the wines, if we're using oak, it's all French oak. We don't use any American oak. We have white wines that made in various styles. So we have stainless steel, and also the wines that made in French oak or aged in French oak. We use different formats of French oak. So we have your typical barrique size, and we have a larger format, which is very common for Rhone. And it's puncheons, French oak puncheons. Just less oak influence. Just the red Rhones tend to be a little bit more gentle, more delicate, so we don't want to overwhelm them with oak. So puncheons are used for that, but it's always guaranteed that you're going to have very elegant wines in general. We don't filter our reds.
Okay.
But even though they're not filtered, they're very classic, clean style reds. And then we do filter whites and rosés.
Okay.
But it's as minimal intervention as possible. We kind of work with what vintage gives us, what's vineyard, what side each side gives us, and try to embrace it and highlight every single site. Yeah.
All right. Well, so we talked a little bit about the wines. Do y'all do any kind of events or wine club events or attractions or activities here at the winery that people come to?
Yeah. So with regard to club events, we have 4 pickup parties a year for our club members. And we always have 2 new releases at that we pair with French crepes.
Oh,
yeah. So we have a chef who comes in and they're always different. So, I mean, he is so creative with what he does. And so we will pair the new releases with French crepes, and then there's always like a dessert crepe. So I mean, people love it, and they're always excited to see what the next crepes are going to be at the next party. And then occasionally we will have some events like a dinner, or we've done some Bastille Day things previously. We don't have those on the calendar regularly, like that it's going to be
Special events.
yeah, special events.
We kind of tried for the first time this new event at the end last year. It became very popular, so we kind of embraced it and decided to do it. We only do it twice a year because we do it on our patio outside. So we just want to make sure it's a comfortable weather, and it's very, very popular event. So we call it two-step tasting.
Okay.
So we decided to do something different because quite a few wineries around done food and wine pairing, and people been there, done that, right?
Sure.
So we wanted to try to introduce something different and interesting and put our own twist on it. So what we ended up doing is we pulled out library wines.
Oh, cool.
And we serve them in flights. So usually it's 3 flights of 2, and it's a library wine. Some of them, the wines we started with versus the current release, or sometimes it's even unreleased wines.
Okay.
And each one of those flights paired with 2 bites. And the fun part is one bite represents French style cuisine, and one is more of an American, your typical American. So you get to try each one of those bites with each one of the wines and see how that changes.
The pairing is different for each style of cooking versus
So French bite versus American bite with each one of the wines. So it's such a fun experience, and it's so interactive, unique, and people love it. So we call it two-step dancing. And
there's a Texas twist on there.
Exactly. So we tried for the first time last year in December. It was a huge success, and then we just did one in April, and the next one we're thinking doing in December again.
Okay.
Yes, it's so much fun, and you just never know what chef's gonna come up with, and he's so widely creative. It is so much fun.
So not only do you get to try that fun and unique experiment with the 2 different tastings, but getting to taste library wines or unreleased things. There's a lot of uniqueness to all of that.
Yeah, and then the one we did in April, we sold out of quite a few library wines during that event. So those wines are
They're out of the library now.
Yeah. But Sheri mentioned we were thinking of doing a Bastille Day event with Counoise, the wine that we mentioned earlier. We about to bottle our next vintage, and this time we're actually doing something fun and different too. We gonna do the classic style. We've done it in the past, so red Counoise, and we also made it's a small production of barrel-aged rosé of Counoise. So we're going to taste them side by side and do some food pairing with that one too.
You see the influence of the Counoise and the rosé and the different connections.
It makes such a different style of wine. So it's super interesting. And since we're kind of known for our rosé, it's always interesting to try some different style of rosé and see what people think. Yeah, we made one. Was it 2019? We made the barrel-aged rosé.
I think it was 19.
Yes, and I actually had a pleasure. A friend of mine shared a bottle just 2 weeks ago. That rosé, it is so beautiful till this day. So beautiful. So still
holding up.
Lively, bright, delicious fruit still there. It's so much fun.
Well, what can a listener expect if they decide to come here to visit French Connection and do a tasting? Let's talk about what a tasting might look like. Do you have like a set flight of wines, or does the customer choose their wines when they do a tasting? What does that typically look like?
So we're very small production, right? And we kind of pride ourselves on that. Ben is very particular about the quality of the fruit he's looking for, the vineyards he's working with. So we never have lots of SKUs. So we keep it small on purpose, but it's definitely quality focused, and it's a set flight. We change it depending on the time of the year. For example, right now that it's warmer, we added rosé to our flight. So current flight is 1 rosé, 1 white wine, and 3 red wines.
Okay.
In the wintertime, we go heavier on the reds, and we keep usually just one white on the flight. That's our educational tasting, and every single team member that is a part of our team has multiple wine certifications. So it's very educational taste.
Okay.
But it's not in the intimidating
Sure.
manner. If it's your first time, we will happily talk about that and get you to enjoy the wines, kind of give you some pointers what to look for. So kind of set you on the right path, right?
Apply to whatever level you're at.
Exactly. So we meet you where you at. But it's usually done, it's a seated tasting, usually done at the table. You never feel rushed. We take time and we work with your schedule. And then we do one a little bit higher end tasting. It's called reserve tasting. That one usually has an additional wine. As a rule, it's a red wine. Right now, the Mourvèdre that Sheri mentioned earlier is the part of the reserve tasting. And that one comes with our French-inspired charcuterie board. We're kind of known for our charcuterie boards. We did a whole bunch of research before we opened.
It was tough work having to research the different things for
Gonna
the
try all
bread.
these and try these.
Yeah, to choose these things that's gonna go on the charcuterie board. And we pride ourselves in serving the French cheese, meat, baguette, a whole bunch of things on the board that you would see in France or when it comes to French cuisine. So that tasting comes with charcuterie board, and we serve macaron, French macaron at the end too. To finish up your tasting.
Yeah, finish that palate off.
But like to her point, when like someone comes in, we really do want to be known for not only the educational component that Victoria speaks about, for sure, that's important to us, but also hospitality. I mean, we truly want to be known for our hospitality. So, you have education, hospitality, but a beautiful view here and really great wine to go with it. And so that's what we strive for with each of our tastings.
As a rule, both me and Sheri, either one of us here, and we love walking around, talking to customers, help to answer any questions and just interact. We don't want anyone to feel, like it's a snobby place or anything like that. Hospitality, that's definitely where I thrive at.
So it's like stepping into a little French section of the countryside to enjoy some of the French tastings, those French wines, and great hospitality and education is part of it. And then for those tastings, I presume they can go to the website to get pricing and all that for those?
Correct.
Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
What about reservations? Do they need reservations or anything?
We suggest for folks to have reservations only because our team is pretty small.
Okay.
So, and as you can see, the space is not necessarily too big. So if you're planning to come in for tasting and spend some time with us, we just want to make sure we reserve a table for you and assign a team member to dedicate it just to your group. If you stop in by for a glass of wine, you don't necessarily need to have a tasting. As a rule, we're happy to accommodate folks for a glass of wine. We the only thing we stay within a smaller groups is because of the space is small, and it gives us an opportunity to tell our story better, and that's kind of the only thing I can think of.
Yeah. So no large groups. Try to keep your groups smaller. Reservations preferred. Can do walk-ins, but reservations preferred for that.
I mean, certainly if someone walks in and we're able to accommodate them for a tasting, we will do our very best to do that for sure.
Yeah. And that goes back to the hospitality that you mentioned a while ago. Do they do the reservations by phone call, or website, or both? Or what's the best way for somebody to make a reservation?
On the day off, give us a call. Otherwise, through the website, it gives folks a better idea what to expect, and gives the full description, and they can kind of take a look of the wines we have. So website is probably a
good starting place.
Yeah.
What are your operating hours? What days are you?
So we're open Thursdays through Sunday.
Okay.
And on Thursday, it's going to be noon to 5.
Okay.
And then on Friday, we open a little bit earlier. We open at 11. We're going to close at 6. No, I'm sorry. I'm thinking Saturday. Friday is also noon to 6. And then Saturday we open up earlier and we're at 11 to 6. And then on Sunday, 11 to 5. Yeah, those are our hours. So.
And then if somebody wants to come and they have kids, pets, things like that, are those allowed or?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. Welcome everyone.
You mentioned a moment ago the charcuterie boards. Do you do any other kind of food options or things like that for people who come?
So we do have a selection of dessert items. We have about 6 different kinds of macarons, a few different kinds of eclairs. Besides charcuterie, another interesting item we have that's somewhat of a recent addition to our menu is a French baguette and butter board, where we serve French baguette, very, very highly regarded, expensive French butter, and a couple different kinds of salts, French salts to explore with to go with bread and butter. We don't have a fully operated kitchen, but those little things, and usually the charcuterie boards we have them in a couple of different sizes.
Mhm.
So as a rule, that's enough for a lunch. But we don't have any hot food items.
Sure. And then when people come, are they allowed to bring their own food or do you want to?
Absolutely. Yeah. And especially nowadays, people have dietary restrictions and we don't want to deprive people if they want to have whatever their current diet they're staying with. If they want to bring their own food, absolutely.
Mhm. Well, what would you say are your busier and slower times? What's the best time for somebody to come visit?
If you want to have more of a private experience, Thursday.
Okay.
It's a good day to come. Plus, on Thursday, we offer a couple of bonuses. We have bonus wine we pour. We have additional discounts on Thursdays. With kitchen is closed. Kitchen is closed. That's a very good point. So definitely encourage on Thursday if you come, bring your own food. But it's a quieter day of the week, so you're more likely to have more space to yourself. And then Friday, Saturday is busy. Sunday can go either way, right? So sometimes it's busy, sometimes it's not that busy. Yeah, but kitchen is open Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Okay. So it depends upon, I know I have some listeners who want to go when it's quiet and no one's around.
Exactly.
Have the bike, but sometimes people want to come when there's a lot of people around and interact and things like that.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
definitely two different kinds of people.
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, do you offer any kind of a wine club? We talked about club events, so I presume you do, but can you tell me the details on your wine club?
Yeah, we do have a wine club and we have several different options for our wine club. We have a 6-bottle mixed option. So in those, if we currently have a rosé on the menu, for example, then that would have maybe white, rosé, and red wines in that. We have a white and rosé only club for those people who aren't red wine drinkers. And we recently started a 6-bottle all reds club only. And that's our newest option because we had people asking for that. So we did that. And then we have a 12-bottle club, which is fully customizable. Okay. And so for those people who like to choose their own wines, they're our case club members.
Yeah.
And we have 4 times a year where we do a shipment.
Okay.
So not necessarily quarterly, but we don't do it during the summer.
Because
of
the summer
course.
heat,
right?
yeah.
Right. But for club shipments each year. Yeah.
Okay.
And on purpose, our club is kept small. A, we're a small production. B, we don't want to overwhelm people. Every single club member that comes through the door, they're like family members to us. We know every single one of them. And when they gather for pickup parties, it's like one big family. And we plan to keep it that way. The production's gonna stay. We're never gonna go really, really big, and we want to keep that more intimate feeling to the club.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
And then can people sign up online, or do they need to come here to sign up for the wine club?
There's not an online sign up.
Okay, so they would come here.
They come here, and what we've done historically is ask people to buy a case of wine in order to join the club, and every club member that we've got has done that.
Yeah.
Some have done it over several visits in order to get to the 12 bottles,
So you payment plan it,
kind of like that. But the point being, and again, this kind of also keeps it small because some people who, are not really that serious about wine may say, "Yeah, I want to sign up," but then they're not really even buying our wines regularly. So, but no, on the website, you're not going to be able to find a button to push to join the club. So,
yeah, and that validates, I think, the wine club members to know these are people who really like our wine. These are our true fan club. This isn't just somebody who.
Although we have had people who have maybe not come in, but we have had people who have bought a case of wine online.
Okay.
And then, we've reached out and said, you've done this. Would you care to join the club? So, I mean, that is an option if they're not able to come on site.
Okay.
It's another way to do it.
That only pays off because the club members, they get to have some wines that never get released to the general public like that. Syrah, I mentioned from Cathedral Mountain. It was such a tiny production. We sold out of that wine at the pickup party.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
It was so popular. It was such a small production that it only went to club members, and like at the pickup party, we sold out. Some of the other projects like that, barrel-aged rosé of Counoise, I think it's going to be a very small production that most likely just going to go to club members. So it depends, on some cool sites, spots, vintages we have that go club members only. Yeah.
Do you do any kind of distribution of your wines, or can people buy online? You mentioned that a moment ago. I'm just trying to figure out if somebody can't get here for some reason, how they might be able to taste French Connection wines.
We ship throughout the U.S. And obviously everywhere in Texas. We don't distribute since we're tiny. We're a very, very small production. Yes, so pretty much everything is direct to consumer. But yeah, all the entire lineup is on the website, and we do run specials, but some bundle specials that you can definitely take advantage of and get to try quite a few of our wines that way too. But we ship for the exception few states in the United States.
A few states have some weird laws.
Yes,
but
exactly, but pretty much everywhere.
Okay, great. So people could try without necessarily, if they can't get here, if they're in another place in the state or other things, or another state or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, so we talked a little bit about the winery itself, and you've got the small production, everything here. Do you have plans for future growth or expansions or things that you want to do, different wine varietals you'd like to work with, or any kind of changes that you'd like to see down the road or dream about in the future?
So I just hope the weather in Texas allowing us to continue to have some beautiful vintages. You just never know. And I mean, obviously those things are not out of our control. Sure. But as far as the production, as we mentioned earlier, we're gonna probably stay within the same production level as we're at right now. And just focus on what we've been doing. If opportunity presents itself, we see new varieties that's worth giving it a shot. We're here for it. But we're just more of a quality versus quantity. And it does take a minute to figure out when it comes to our own varieties, what works, what doesn't work. And since we kind of been doing it, I mean, obviously not quite as long as some folks around, but established, and we're gonna continue working with the varieties that's familiar to us and in the quantities that we feel comfortable at. Yeah, we don't want to overextend. We have super tiny production team. Our production team is 3 people. Well, 4 with Ben. Yeah, 4 people. So that's it. And when we need it to be, we jump in and help. But it just kind of what we're planning stay with.
I think there's something to be said for, we've built something that we like, something that works, something that's high quality, and we're not looking to branch out from that. We want to make sure that we do the best we can with what we have.
Just focus and continue doing what we've been doing.
Yeah, because we feel like we have it dialed in, to this place where and our customers kind of know to expect quality when they come here. So we're not looking to try to go off on some new route. So great question.
All right. Well, that leads me to my last question, which is, there are a lot of great places that people can go to drink wine in Texas. So what really, in your opinion, sets French Connection apart that would make people say, I got to get there and try those wines at French Connection?
Okay. I'll jump in here. I know I touched on it a little bit earlier in this interview, Scott, but our hospitality is so important to us. Being the people who are welcoming. But I can't tell you how many people have walked in the front door not really knowing what to expect, and then they open the back door and walk out and go, "Wow, oh my goodness!" Because the view is spectacular, and then they sit down and have beautiful wines with the beautiful view and
This nice breeze
this
blowing
whole
through
experience.
here.
So the shocked look on people's faces is always fun to see, always. So I mean, start with that.
Yeah, to add on to that, I know it's sort of a battle here in the Texas wine industry, but we are proud to be 100% Texas fruit winery, and our goal is to stay that way, to promote 100% Texas wines through the state of Texas, and hoping to gain more and more support. It is fight we're gonna continue fighting. It's a fight that's been going on for quite some time, and we're really, really proud to be 100% Texas, supporting Texas farmers, Texas industry, and continue growing that movement. Will and Chris done fantastic job starting that fight, and we're on board with that, and gonna continue doing that. Yeah, it's very important, especially in the current climate, and that's the path we chose. And it's not an easy path, but we're staying on it. We're staying on it.
And I think that's important for you, I'm sure, with your agricultural background, how important that is to make sure that the agriculture we plant here is done here, and we enjoy what we
If
got
you're in
here.
Texas,
Sense of place.
why don't you drink Texas wines?
Exactly.
And I'd like to add one more thing about our location here, and that is for people who are looking for not only a wine tasting experience, but a place to stay when they're out tasting wines. We have 3 maisonettes here on site. They're a little bit larger than a standard hotel room, so they're like 400 square feet apiece. You can see them on our website. We have a tab, for those, and people love it. And they have the space here at night if they want to come up to the patio and just watch the sunset up here. There's patios up at each of the maisonettes where they can watch the sunset. People love it because it's so remote. So it's not the hustle and bustle of, say, Fredericksburg. It's, dark skies kind of thing where they can see the stars, just sort of like their own place here. And so we have 3 of those available for people. And it's close proximity to other wineries out
Exactly.
here.
We're very close to Gerson Brothers. You can walk basically
And we're a mile from William Chris.
and to William Chris.
So it's people who sort of want to avoid the whole Fredericksburg thing and stay out more in the high Stonewall Johnson City area and visit wineries or distilleries out here.
Yeah.
We're like the perfect location. So.
Definitely the perfect location that feels really secluded, great views, great wines, but near proximity, as they said, to different other wineries and places that you might want to go visit if you're taking a day trip or some sort of expedition there into the hill country to explore. And if you do, French Connection Wines is definitely worth your time to go check out and visit. Now, as always, check out their website before you go. It's www.frenchconnectionhigh.com. Now that's HYE for High Texas. And on that website, you're going to find all the information about these great wines that they're producing and offering, what's available at the time. And you can even purchase them right there to have them shipped directly to your door. And also on their website, you're going to find information about their wine club and all the details and information about that. You will find more information about the winery itself, what to expect when you go to visit, and even the information on those maisonettes that they talked about in the interview where you could stay if you're planning to make a trip out to the wine country. And don't forget, when you go to see them, make sure you tell them you heard about them on this podcast, Texas Under Vine. Now, once we wrapped up our interview, it was tasting time. So they gave me the option of either sitting inside or sitting outside on that beautiful patio with that incredible view. And of course, I wanted the view. So I sat out on the back patio while they brought me a tasting of all these great wines. The breeze was beautiful, just blowing through my hair. I was checking out the Pedernales River Valley in front of me as I sipped on these delectable wines. It was a really true surreal experience. They have a great selection of whites. They have rosé, they have reds. So you're going to probably find something for most any palate there. They are dry wines, just to be aware of that. And as I said, they're actually all small production batches. So you know that in every sip and every glass that you get there at French Connection, you're getting the most highest quality wine. And when you find something that you like, because they are small production, make sure to buy a bottle or two of it while you're there, because the next time you come visit, it might be gone. Now, what was my favorite? I knew you were going to ask that, especially since it does come time at this point in the podcast for me to choose my favorite for my wine library. Which bottle for this episode am I going to pick? Now, all the wines that I tasted there were fabulous, but I kept coming back to this. This is their 2022 Viognier. Now, Viognier is a Rhone Valley grape that's known for their white wine grape that is known for its aromatics as well as a full mouthfeel. This particular wine had a great velvety sensation on my tongue as I drank it. It was very full and rich, but it also had on the nose, when I was smelling it, lots of aromas of pear, jasmine flower, things like that. Really, really nice as I smelled it. The palate didn't lie as I began to drink it. I got all of those flavors in addition to some tropical fruit. Really great balanced acidity, very crisp on the tongue. What a great white wine to drink. You could pair it with a lot of different things, but I just loved sipping on this, watching that beautiful view over the Pedernales River Valley. So make sure you try this and get a bottle of their Viognier when you go to see them at French Connection Wines. Now, I could have spent all day here just soaking in that beautiful breeze, the beautiful view, sipping on these amazing wines. And I was really soaking in the French and the Rhone Valley spirit there at the winery. But alas, it was time for me to move on to bring you great information about other Texas wine destinations. Before I go, though, I have a special request of you, as always. So at this point in the podcast, I always like to solicit reviews or ratings. If you're enjoying the content that I'm bringing you every other week here on this podcast, Texas Under Vine, and you're getting to go visit some great wineries and learn about these great people and great wines that we have here in the state of Texas, then would you be willing to go give me a rating and a review wherever you get the podcast, whether that's on Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube, Podcatcher, any of the places where you can get podcasts. Just go there and leave a quick review and a few stars for me. I would appreciate it. It really does help expand the presence of the podcast, get other people to see it who might be interested in our Texas wine industry and checking out these great wineries. And in addition, if you have some friends that you think might enjoy this information, some friends that love wine as well, share it with them. It's amazing to me that every day I continue to run across people who say, I had no idea that Texas had a wine industry. This is a $20 billion industry we have in this state with over 500 wineries. It is huge what we have going on here, and there's no reason why it should be kept a secret. So share it with your friends so they can find out about some of these great places to go visit as well and learn what you and I know about this beautiful industry and these beautiful wines we have here in Texas. Also, if you're watching this on my YouTube channel, make sure to like, follow, and subscribe. And do me a favor, go down just below the video and go to the comment section and leave me a comment on the video. Tell me what you think about French Connection Wines. If you've been there before, what was your favorite thing? If you've never been there before, based on this episode and what you've learned about it, what do you think you're most looking forward to seeing when you go? And with that, my time is up. So don't forget, subscribe to the podcast and follow my socials to be notified anytime a new episode is released. And until then, happy trails and bottoms up, y'all.
Thanks for listening to Texas Under Vine. We strive to provide you with the best information about wine businesses all over Texas. Be sure to check out our website at texasundervine.com and follow us on our socials at Texas Under Vine to stay up on all the upcoming episodes. Please email us with any suggestions or feedback.
Also, contact us if you're interested in donating, sponsoring, or advertising on the podcast, just to help us cover our expenses and bring even more great info to you in future episodes. Above all, travel safely, and most especially, drink responsibly.
Howdy, Vine Trippers. Before we go, I wanted to direct you to my website, www.texasundervine, because there you're going to find a whole host of things. Besides access to the audio versions and the video versions of the podcast, you can also get those on any podcast provider, and then the video on YouTube. But there you're going to find a couple of things. Did you know that I actually sold some Texas Under Vine merchandise? I only have a handful of items available, about 5 different things, but they are up on my store. So if you go to the website, texasundervine.com, and go to the top, you're going to see a link for the merchandise store, and there you can get your own Texas Under Vine swag to proudly show all of your friends that you support the Texas wine industry, and you can get them started on and hooked on the podcast as well, so they can go visit even more of these great wine destinations. But in addition to the store, I also have a Patreon for my subscribers, people that support this show. I do this all out of a work of love from my heart. I do not make any money on this podcast. I'm actually in the red because I support it all out of my own pocket as a teacher. And it's mainly because I love wine and I love the Texas wine industry. So if you're willing to help me do that and you'd like to see more of these great episodes, hear more from these amazing winemakers, learn more about some fun destinations for you to go and visit on your own, I would appreciate if you would be willing to subscribe to my Patreon. So at the top of my website page, again, you'll find a Become a Patron link. And there you can get all the information about becoming a subscriber to the podcast here as a Patreon subscriber. It only costs a few dollars a month if you're willing to commit that. And there are various levels that you can commit to that each give you behind the scenes benefits that you don't get. And I do have some new things in the pipeline coming down soon. So you want to get on that sooner than later. But right now you can get things like behind the scenes photos at different wineries. You can get things like at one level, you'll get a video walkthrough of the winery. So for every episode, I will post a video walkthrough of me taking you through the winery itself so you can see what it's like before you go. And then at one level, you can even find out before everyone else where I'm headed the next week on the show as it comes out. So you'll know before everyone else. You get a sneak peek. So there's just different levels of benefits, and they all cost a different amount. And as you subscribe, you become the heart of this podcast. You really are what helps me succeed. You are my community and my people. And thank you so much for those that do subscribe. So if you're interested in joining Patreon, check the Become a Patron link at the top of the website. So again, the website is www.texasundervine.com. You can also go to all of my socials. I'm at Texas Under Vine on almost all the social accounts. And check it out and consider sponsoring the podcast and maybe even buying some of that really cool swag on the merchandise store. Happy trails and bottoms up, Vine Trippers.